What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where your fans welcome. As you see, we're here for a live show. It's our first live show in quite some time. We want to make this a regular thing, weekly, or whatever news we get out to you guys. We're gonna make this a goal. Go live here a little more consistently. Get you guys some live footage, some live action. So I appreciate you guys joining us here today. We are going to talk about Matthew Stafford, some trading spots for him, and we'll get into some Indiana. I almost said football, Indiana basketball, and that's kind of really it for today. We might have a couple questions or some things pop up here and there, but appreciate you guys for joining us, and I'm going to let McHenry take the stage for now.
Sure. Yeah, just glad to be here, guys. First live episode that I've done, so if I suck at it really bad, I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Trying to do this and get better at it over time and practice at it. So, like anything, if it's new to you, you're probably not going to be very good at it. So, apologize for uh, anything that goes wrong. So, but yeah, just looking forward to talking about some sports and doing this more and getting it better. And yeah, today I guess we're going to talk about Matthew Stafford a little bit and where he might land. I didn't have a whole lot of opinion on this. I know maybe three teams popped up in the top of my head when I was asked the question, and the first team that popped in was the Steelers. I'm not sure what they're going to do with their quarterback situation, but I'm not sure they're settled on Fields or Russell Wilson. So I would think that Stafford would be at least an option there. I'm not sure about the financial part of it and all that kind of stuff, but you're talking about a team that's like a playoff team that's probably a quarterback away from actually being a serious contender. Well, that's probably your team. And Stafford doesn't have a lot of time left. Like, he needs to go to a team that is ready to win now, and he's not going to want to go to a team that's rebuilding or something at all. So I think the Steelers would be at least a good fit. Um, I'd have to analyze it more and get into like financials and different things like that to see how much of a possibility it actually is. But that was just one team that come to mind, the Steelers. There, what do you think about the Steel Crew?
I like that idea. That's my favorite spot. But this point system that I put together, they were actually second in like my rankings. Like, I kind of combine a couple of things here. I combine like the salary cap situation, which the Steelers, they're in a pretty good spot where they could go for Stafford. They might need to do a couple things to make it happen, because I think Stafford is due about 47 and a half, something around there. So that's a good chunk of money, but he's a quarterback. If he's going to bring you to the Super Bowl, they don't really care about the money. They just want to, hey, come here, bring us there. But salary cap is one of them. Another one was the dome. Is it a cold weather, a hot weather kind of place? And the Steelers, Pittsburgh, it's a cold weather area. And then we have, another thing I incorporated into that system was the coach. Mike Tomlin, great coaching, great atmosphere. That's no issue. And then, are they ready to win? That was my that was my most important question. Yes, the Steelers are most certainly ready to win. Maybe you throw another weapon or two in there. I mean, they have the running backs. They have a nice the offensive line is good enough. Defense, we all know that Pittsburgh is going to bring a good defense to the table. They do every single year. So I love Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is my favorite option. But my point system, believe it or not, it might sound a little crazy, but I had the Raiders up there. The Raiders aren't ready to win, but they won in terms of their salary cap and the coaching situation. The salary cap and the coaching situation is right on point. I mean, you bring Pete Carroll in. He brought the Seahawks to a couple Super Bowls. He won one, and the Raiders have a really good salary cap. They're in a really good position. I think they're number one or number two, but the Raiders, they're number one on my point system in terms of like coaching. Look, go and play in a dome, go and play in warm weather, older in the dome, get a good coach, but they're not really ready to win. And I don't see Matthew Stafford being a quarterback that's ready to go and take a backup role. He's not ready for that. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to go somewhere. He wants to win. And he's
Yeah, he's
still
not
good
taking
enough to
a
do
backup.
that. Yeah,
He's not going to be a backup.
no way. Especially for him being slated to make almost 50 million. You know what I mean? No way.
It's not even
Um,
a question.
No, but I like the Steelers as my favorite option. But as I kind of talked about the weather situation, it's really cold there. I mean, Pittsburgh, it gets cold. That's what we hear about. Field goals are difficult because that river is right there. That makes it even more colder. Uh, it's not really a dome, but you look at the atmosphere. You look at the coaching situation. They have really good coaching situation. That's not really too much of a question. Salary cap, that's not too much of an issue. The Steelers can make it work, and they're ready to win. So that's kind of why I have the Steelers here. That's why I love the Steelers as well.
I had Vegas as number 2. That was a second team I thought of. So kind of thinking alike there. They're going to need a quarterback to win. They are indoors. It's not too far away from LA, that kind of thing. And I could see Tom Brady wanting to get a good quarterback in there, a vet quarterback.
Hey,
Um, yeah, I can see that as a decent option. I'd say the main hurdle is the winning. Are they close enough to being able to win? What is their plan? Um, do they think they can get there in a year or two? Because Stafford's getting older. How much time does he have left? And would Vegas be good enough by the time that his arm, before he's ready to retire and his arm's still good? Basically, is what I'm getting at. So
yeah. And does he really want to go into the same? If he's trying to win, do you want to go into the same division as Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Bo Nix? I'm not too sure about that. But the other things that we looked at that I mentioned looks pretty good. And welcome to East Coast Gridiron. Welcome everyone in the chat. Thank you for the happy birthday. I appreciate it. Nice to see you guys here. First live show. Appreciate McHenry for joining us here today. I have the privilege to talk with him today. So yeah, currently we're talking Matthew Stafford. Currently we're talking Matthew Stafford stuff. And number 3, which was actually tied with the Steelers, I had the Patriots. They have a young quarterback in Drake May, so that's kind of why they're third in the point system that I made, but it doesn't make too much sense to me because you have Drake May, who had a really promising rookie year. Will he be good? We don't know. That's $1 million question you ask every franchise when they draft a quarterback after year 1 or you're just drafting them. You never know. But Drake May had a really good first year. Maybe they want to bring Stafford in, but are the Patriots ready to win? I don't think so. It's cold weather. Coaching situation is very good. I love Mike Vrabel. Maybe he is the question mark of what do you say? The culture issues he maybe had in Tennessee. But I think that just comes with the nature of not winning. You know what I mean? The nature of not winning. It's just sometimes that catches up with certain cultures and coaches. But the Patriots, what do you think about the Patriots? You think that's a little bit far-fetched out there? You think, yeah.
I don't think they're going to do anything with Drake May. I mean, you're not going to sit him. Like, you're not going to trade him.
Right. An interesting wild card team I threw in there. This is towards the bottom of the list. The Jaguars. I know this sounds crazy, but there has been some talks about the Jaguars potentially wanting to trade Trevor Lawrence. So if they wanted to trade Trevor Lawrence, do they just do a swap with the Rams? I mean, are they ready to win? That's probably not. But warm weather, coaching situation's a little iffy. But I mean, it's just a wild card throw out there. I don't think it's going to happen. What do you think? No, not a shot.
I would say Tennessee's probably got a better shot because Tennessee has a good defense, and if they're probably a quarterback and an offensive weapon away from being a pretty good team. Tennessee also has a high pick in the draft, so if they wanted Stafford, they could trade that high pick to get Stafford, most likely, put some kind of package together. So I think a team like Tennessee is probably – although, I mean, if the Jaguars wanted to trade, quarterback for quarterback, then that would probably work for them. But there again, how close are the Jaguars to being able to win?
Yeah.
Tennessee's actually has a good defense.
I agree.
Their offense put their defense in horrible situations all year long, and that defense held its ground for the most part, and they were ranked very well. So,
yeah,
bad quarterbacking aside, Tennessee is not a horrible team. I mean, if you were, wanting to take a shot, I mean, that's like probably a mid-grade shot. I would say, the Steelers are like the high end. Like if Stafford had a team he wanted to go to or he wanted to win, that would be the one. And then you kind of have Vegas or, as a number 2 type scenario possibly. And then because they're not quite as close to winning. And then Tennessee, teams like Tennessee where they might have to trade somebody, the Jaguars, anybody like that, where they'd have to trade something to get him. They're probably like, that third tier. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree.
beyond that, maybe Minnesota. Minnesota was the team that popped in my mind. That's probably closer to what you were thinking there. They've got like a young quarterback. If they get into the offseason and they don't think that, the young guy's ready, then maybe you do make a move for Stafford and do something like that.
Yeah, they
Plus, that's
have
indoors as well.
indoors, phenomenal coaching staff. They're ready to win. I mean, there's a lot riding there for them. That's actually a really good spot. I just kind of I was overthinking that spot a little bit, but yeah, that's a really good place. Do they pull a trigger? I could see it. I'm not sure how their salary cap is because I didn't check theirs. Um, but I know the Saints were a team that I thought he would be a good fit with. I mean, I think the Saints have some good pieces here and there. They're
Yeah,
indoors. The issue with the Saints is they are like dead last in salary cap. I think they're like 40 some million under the cap. So that was just not in the, you know, just because of salary cap alone, that kind of destroys your opportunity there. And plus they have Spencer Rattler. I love Spencer Rattler. They still have Carr. They're paying Carr all that money. So kind of stuck with Carr at that point. Um, you said the Titans. I like the Titans. How about the Giants? I think the Giants are a team that we could throw in there. I mean, the Giants maybe had the worst record last year. They may have looked like the worst team, but their defense was okay. They have a couple of weapons. They have Wando Robinson, Malik Neighbors is awesome. They have a couple of quality tight ends I can't name on the top of my head right now, but the Giants are a dark horse, and they have the salary cap. They have some weapons that, the offensive line is not very good, although you do have a really good left tackle. But the thing that kind of draws you away from the Giants is it's an outdoor stadium. It gets very cold, and there's not really, I don't know, there's all that talk about how bad that field is, about how bad that turf is. So I'm not really too sure that he wants to go there. I mean, we saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers over there. I mean, he tore his Achilles a second play. We saw him in the Super Bowl. So does he really want to go and try his chances and play on that field 8-9 times a year? I don't think so. Um, but disregarding the field situation, I like the Giants as another place for him to go. The Colts, no, it's not going to happen. It was fun to sit down and think about for 2-3 seconds, but then you sit back and you're like, yeah, no, we had our fair share of good times, but good or bad times. We had good and bad times with some old quarterbacks, but no. As Colts
yeah,
fans, no. I love Matthew Stafford, always always have, but I don't think so. But that can kind of bring us into our next topic here. Unless, do you have anything else you want to any other teams you have in there that we didn't talk about that you think Matthew Stafford can potentially go to?
no, I think that's about it.
Yeah. All right. So now I guess we can kind of talk about, let's look back. I mean, it's not really too much of a question, but let's look back. Carson Wentz and Matthew Stafford. Like you said, Stafford kind of chose to go to LA. But looking back on it, it's obvious who won the trade because that was a big thing back then. Remember, the Colts kind of had people were saying, it's either Stafford or Wentz. Obviously, we went with Wentz, didn't work out. Rams went with Stafford, won the Super Bowl. So the clear winner is there, but I just kind of want to get your take on that situation.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get Stafford, but he chose somebody else. So that's it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't see Ballard ever going back on like Anthony Richardson and all that kind of stuff. So I don't see him bringing him in now. And back then, I don't know. Yeah, I mean everybody wanted him at that time, and honestly, when he brought in Wentz, I think most fans were okay with that. And then when he traded him away, he got a good haul on it. So did he play well? Did he turn out? No. I think a lot of people were just better. They were okay with that situation, but the situation with with Matty Ice after that. A lot of people didn't like that when he brought him in. He was, why they let him go in Atlanta for a reason. He didn't have any arm strength left. He couldn't throw. He had no throwing power. So he comes to the Colts and just it's tossing lame ducks everywhere. Yeah, that's all about all I got to say about that.
We've had enough of the old quarterback carousel. No offense, no, no hard feelings against those guys, but it's just we've had enough. You know what I mean? The Rams are actually pretty smart. They're trying to get ahead a year rather than fall behind a year. You know what I mean? Smart stuff, But you do also ask, you go somewhere else. Does he pop off for another year or two? Is kind of like, ugh, we let him go. But at the same time, he's older. It's getting right. It's time to get ready and move on. And you have Sean McVay, who can develop quarterbacks, who can, who's a really good system that can get a young quarterback in there and really help him develop and just get to be a good quarterback. So get someone new in there while you could before it turns into a disaster. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
good stuff there. Smart move there. All right. I guess we can kind of move on to, I don't really want to drag on the topic too much, but I guess we can kind of move on to Indiana basketball, right? You said they have a game today
Yeah.
and, there's a new coaching situation going on. First, let's talk about the game a little bit. What do you think about the game?
Yeah, I wouldn't be betting any money on it either way. Um, Indiana is talented enough to win the game, and Purdue's on a 3-game slide. So, and it's a rivalry game. So, if a smart person's not going to put money on it, you don't know how Indiana's going to react to this situation. They're playing at home; they could win the game. Um, and then also Purdue's, the better team, the better coach team, but they're probably not as talented. So the game could go either way. Like it's a crapshoot. I think it's bad. It's a bad bet to put money on. Um, and it's a rivalry game, so I could see possibly going on the under because of that. These rivalry games tend to get heated and they're physical and there's fouling and stuff like that going on. So I can see maybe a play on the under on that game. But as far as the outcome goes, I'm at this point like a lot of Indiana fans. I don't really care, to be honest. Like I'm really I'm ready for next season to see who the coach is. And yeah, I mean, the top 3 coaches that I think most people wanted right now would be like Brad Stevens, Dusty May, and Chris Beard. Those are like the 3 elite type coaches that everybody would want. One of those 3. If we get any of those 3, everyone's going to be happy. Basically, it looks like 2 of them are not in the picture at the moment. Brad Stevens supposedly is not coming, and Dusty May just signed a new contract with Michigan, so it doesn't look like he's going to end up coming as well. But Chris Beard is still on the table, but Chris Beard had an incident where he had some domestic violence type charges put on him down at Texas, and he got fired from Texas. Now, those charges were dropped, so that means neither the prosecutor or the person involved wanted to press the charges, and after the situation calmed down, the charges were dropped. So unless you're trying to hold him to a double jeopardy type standard, then that stuff should be done and over with. And then Ole Miss has hired him, right? He's working at Ole Miss. Ole Miss has done a background check on the guy, and he's obviously cleared that. And he's a good enough coach and person to be able to coach down there. So I don't see why Indiana would be too good of a place for him to be at. Some people are saying that he's not an option. He's not a starter because of the charges that were put against him. But there again, I bring up the point that, this is America. You're not supposed to be in a double jeopardy situation, basically, which means you're not supposed to be getting punished for the same thing twice, right? That's called double jeopardy. And doing that to him and denying him an opportunity just because of something that was dropped legally, yeah, I think that's pretty weak. And if you're going to go for a choir boy as the basketball coach, then you're liable to get what you ask for there, to be honest, and be back in the same situation in 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, not real optimistic on Indiana basketball at the moment, but it is what it is. I mean, it's been like 20 years of frustration. I mean, we really haven't had a great team since 2002, and it's a fan base and a university that's used to winning championships, competing at least, being in the mix, and not being anywhere close to that in the last 20 years is become frustrating. For younger fans, it's different because, they've only experienced it for a short time. But if you've been a fan since you were a kid and you're in your 40s or 50s or older, then it's getting pretty frustrating because it's been a long drought. And, they've just continued to hire the wrong coach time after time. And, hiring people for reasons that have nothing to do with basketball at times as well. Like, just go hire the best person possible is what they need to do. Someone who wants the job a little bit too, not just somebody who's coming for the money, right? Because Indiana pays really well. They're one of the, NIL wise, it's one of the strongest universities in the country. People don't realize Indiana University has like 9 satellite schools. They have a lot of other little schools out there, and they have one of the biggest alumni bases in the country as well. A lot of people go to schools named Indiana University. So, with the NIL power that they have, the war chest that they have for the money and the facilities and things like that, they should be successful. And they just got to get the right coaching here. And I know you don't follow Indiana basketball real close and stuff, which is fine, but I just want to get an opinion out there.
Yep.
Everyone else is putting their opinion out. Why can't I have mine out here? Right. So
That's right.
I've been watching Indiana basketball since, I was probably, 11, 12 years old with my uncle. And, it's a family thing for me. I grew up around Bloomington. I went to Bob Knight basketball camp. Like, I'm in the culture and in the life as well. So, I deserve to have opinion just like anybody. If you're going to ask me who should be the coach, I say it should be Chris Beard or Dane Fife, is my opinion. So Dane Fife was actually kind of the coach in waiting, and then Mike Woodson drove him out because he didn't like him for various reasons. And, I guess Dane Fife has stuck around Bloomington, and I'm assuming for, maybe a chance at this job. So, I think if him and Dolson, which is the athletic director there in Bloomington, if they have a good relationship, I think that's a good possibility. And I think he deserves a shot. If you're gonna go with somebody who's not like an all-star coach, a proven name, then you're gonna take a chance with somebody who's a little, a bit unknown. Then I think Dane Fife is a good choice. Wouldn't be my first choice. It wouldn't be like my top 3 or probably 4 or 5, but just like Billy Donovan comes to mind. I don't know what he's doing right now, and the guy that used to coach Villanova, I'm having a blank right now, but he's a real good coach too. He is analyzing for like ESPN or something now. But yeah, there's a few guys. There's probably a few other guys out there I wouldn't be disappointed in if they grabbed him. But yeah, my two. I'd really like Chris Beard. He has connection to Bob Knight. He used to be a Bob Knight assistant. And then also Dane Fife as well. Just this hard, tough nose guys who know about Indiana basketball and what the fans want and how we want the coach to act and perform. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that, man. So just wanted to vent about it just a little bit real quick.
Hey, that's all cool. Hey, that's all cool. We're getting ready to try and get into different sports as well. So that's a good way to get into it. Just a little segment there. And
yeah,
but yeah,
I got a pick of the day too, if you want that.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I got a NBA pick for today. Is the Dallas Mavericks are playing the Golden State Warriors tonight, and Klay Thompson is coming back to play at Golden State, and he's been hitting about 6 3-pointers a game against Golden State when he plays them. And right now they've got the over 2.5 3-pointers at -180, and they've got 3.5 3-pointers made at +130. I think those are either one of those would be a good bet. I think the 2.5 is starting to get a little high on the value wise for like -180 because it started off at -140 and it's got up to -180, which is not a good as good of a value. But having 4 3-pointers made is at +130, which is still a pretty good value. He's been hitting about 6. He's averaging 6 against the Warriors. So to get +130 at 4 3-pointers is a pretty good value. So I'm gonna be looking at that tonight. That's my pick of the day. I'm not gonna get too crazy. Got the Indiana Purdue game today, and I don't think I'm gonna put any money on that because I don't feel like getting fooled or anything on it. You could on some of those teams you like, if you put money on them and you lose your money, it's like it's a double negative.
Yeah, I get that. It's like, you bet against your team or you bet with your team, it's a and if they lose, it's kind of like, ugh, there's no winning. There,
You
it's a lose-lose.
shouldn't bet on the team. If you're wanting to make money, you don't bet on the teams you like. You stay away from them.
Good point, because sometimes you're just naive and you don't really see like something's going on. When
It's
you like
hard
a
to
player.
have an unbiased opinion when you're betting on a team that you have any kind of emotion for at all.
Yeah, exactly. So
You should bet on teams and players you don't care about at all.
that's right. That's how you make the best decisions. You
Yep.
don't like them, or you don't like them like that. It's not one of your favorite players. It's like, all right.
Yep. Keep the emotion out of it, people. Some people need to
Exactly.
practice that in their daily lives. You know?
Oh yeah, I could really get into that, man.
Yeah.
But
It's
I'm not going to. But
oh yeah.
hey.
Going emo. Let's go emo.
All right, I think that's all we really got for this live show. It was a short little show, but I think it was a
Yeah.
way for us to get started,
Yeah.
get ourselves out there.
Just want to get on here and practice a little bit and try to get better at it and get comfortable doing this kind of thing. At least for myself, I just, want to get some time in, man.
That's right.
Look
Yeah,
at it.
it's been fun. It's been good going. So I appreciate you coming out with me today, man. It was a good time talking some football and then listen to some basketball. Hey, I followed along. I kind of making me want to try and watch this Indiana Purdue game, just to get into it. For college basketball, I've always been like a Syracuse fan. I've always liked
Yeah.
Syracuse. Don't know what it is. It's just always a team I liked. And they're not doing too good this year. So maybe Indiana give me something good to watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, yeah, it's
Worse.
the way that Purdue plays. I like their style of basketball. I like the way that Matt Painter coaches. I give them their props and their respect. They're in a sense that's kind of what Indiana's after, and it's a rivalry game. I don't like it when the Purdue fans talk their smack and stuff. So always got to fight back against that. But it's good to get into different sports. Like I like football and basketball, so I'm always willing to talk about that and what's going on. Tournament time's coming around. Going to have some more bets and stuff like that going around tournament time. I like to hit a lot of unders when it comes to tournament time because the pace slows down. But you got to pick the right ones, obviously. But a lot of unders hit during tournament time. It's a different pace of play, and I think a lot of times the talent, when the talent's close, it turns into a rock fight. That goes in football sometimes too. When two teams are real close and talent and ability and all that, it can turn into a grind. But,
For sure.
Yeah, just looking forward to talking about any kind of sports stories and situations going on out there. Just, I'm getting into it and starting to read a little bit more about sports and trying to stay more up to date with what's going on and whatnot.
Yeah.
I used to watch ESPN all the time, but I had to cut that out. Like I just like the arguing and some of the opinions on there. It got to the point where it just was not very entertaining. And, I started turning to podcasts and getting into this. And there's several podcasts that I watched that I'm a fan of and just inspired me to, try to, do something myself. And one day I was watching your show and you put like a advertisement out for looking for people. And here we are, man. So just happy to be here and glad to be able to talk about sports, man. It's enjoyable. And, and looking forward to the future, man. Glad to be here.
Me too. I'm happy you're here. It's a privilege to talk to you every week. Talk some football. Now we're getting to basketball, so it's a privilege to talk to you every week. And now I'll have you on the show. We're officially going live. It's about time, and it's exciting. It's exciting.
We'll figure things out more as we go along. Heck, we don't know exactly what we're focusing on yet. We're just kind of working at it as we go. Yeah.
And you know, that's the best way to learn. It's the best way to get ourselves to where we want to be. Wing it.
Sometimes you just gotta start doing stuff, man. It's like writing. When you start doing creative writing, you just brainstorm and write whatever, and then as you go along, you'll start to focus on the important stuff and filter some of the stuff you don't need out. So we're gonna do
Exactly.
that with the show, and it's gonna get better, man. And just looking forward to seeing what it becomes in the future, man. That's why I'm really excited about it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm pumped. I'm pumped, man. All right, sounds good. We're gonna head out of here. So I appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that post notification bell on for some future uploads, future live shows. This is gonna be more of a regular. We'll be getting some more people on here too. It's not gonna just be me and McHenry. We're gonna get a couple more people on here, try to talk about basketball, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Get a little more variety. But you know, even if it's 3 people, 4, we don't know. You know, we have a couple people behind the scenes that want to get on too. So we'll get them on here. You know, we got a lot coming up. So stick around. Good place to be. And any last words for you, or no, kind of ready, got it all out?
Yeah, well, I think we're good, my man. Let's get them out of here.
All right, sounds good. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us. JW Sports Talk Show out.